winter. But now we're gonna have to deal with leaky hatches for a little bit. Gonna line the hatch lips with Total Boat Total Seal and plop them down. Should keep the water out, at least for a little bit. I'm also going to cut more space for hatches because this boat's got a ton of space in the backside. I got these sweet hatches thanks to Jeff on one of the boat forums. Really appreciate him. Nice guy. We're going to put these hatches over here because these ones have these giant dogs that you pull up and you twist and you can get access to all your stuff. So I can store scuba gear and other assorted junk down below. Since we have a dry exhaust, there is no need for the wet exhaust port on the back. It's just another hole in the back of my boat, which I do not need or want. So we're gonna grind this thing out, fillet it and chamfer it, and then back with the big fiberglass G10 block and add more fiberglass on top of that until there's more fiberglass coming out of everything.
Watertight. How watertight this is going to be. It's a solid piece of G10, the most expensive thing you've ever purchased. I mean, next to carbon fiber. Put this on the inside and cover up this stinky hole in the bottom of my boat. You gotta glue this in here and glass this in. Stage, we carefully put on our elaborate secret sauce called Pixo. Then we stick it on the boat. Like this.
It should be a good waterproof seal. I just put all the little bit of stuff. And we're going to coat it with Total Boat Total Fair to make it fair in and obviously disappear from the rest of it. It's like it never even happened.
Stop it, so I'm gonna come back and let this cure. Then we're gonna just put a epoxy, wet it around this edge, and blend this in. Epoxy and G10 plate. It's extra water. It's not really below the water line, but it's really close to the water line. So I still want to make sure it's really like a below the water line. On today's episode of owning a boat and being a boat owner, we learned how to feed the boat. So today we're making pancakes for the boat because the boat needs pancakes shoved in its back hole. 1708 sheets of that. We're just covering with epoxy and like kind of hanging them on and going up layer by layer, filling in this dish. So, I think what we're working on now, you attach that gate over there to the back of the boat. I don't really have the way to do this on a custom plate epoxy and using Fixo because it's really strong and then run bolts all the way to the deck. The deck is made out of Eric's board, so it's kind of shoddy for attaching. So I'm using solid G10 make it extra strong, gonna put some stuff on.
Now I'm using my computer science degree, which I do not have, to do
CAD, or Corporate Design. Put a laugh in support of I tell you, this extra fine over there is actually a little bump.
I think that's more with this G10. It's extremely strong and really expensive, but I guess it's expensive for a reason, because it's really strong and it's pretty much impervious to salt water.
Now that I have all these plates cut, we can glue them into those.
So I'm going to use this to reinforce the back of my boat, and hopefully my experiment here works. Next thing I need to do, make new hatches for the engine. The old hatches that covered the engine are just too small, so I'm going to have to remake some new ones out of some plywood and fiberglass. I really like to use some of the Eric's board to cover this thing up, but it's too expensive and I ran out, so this plywood will have to do.
Alright, time to install the sea strainer for the engine. Task, my long line task that needs to get done. Quick tip, if you want to transfer holes inside, get a piece of masking tape, trace the hole, and mark some wash will have to do, and stick it on the thing you want. You don't have to actually measure or do anything, just tape.
I love repowering boats, said no one ever. That's why I'm installing this sea strainer now. This is a 2-inch sea strainer. The old one was a 1.5-inch one, and the 2-inch one costs more money. I love wasting money on this boat. Straining your seawater is a very good thing to do when you're driving through seaweed and aircraft you don't really want your engine. Now I can install the hose. Also, this engine has a 2-inch inlet, and the old one had a 1.5-inch, so literally I did throw everything away and had to get all new stuff for this. Repowering boats, it's really expensive. Nothing about this is cheap, for sure. Now we can multitask and get to the back of the boat. I can finally put on this Total Boat fairing compound and smear this ugly stuff away so you can barely ever notice that there was a hole in the back. If my body works good enough, you'll never even tell this was there. Time for more Total Boat green boogers. Patching that hole. The next multitasking thing we need to do is put more waterproofing stuff on our engine hatches. Since they're plywood, I don't want them to get wet because plywood and water don't really get along. So I'm using some Total Boat Total Barrier. It's like a two-part epoxy. Super paint and coating the hatches with this, and then we're going to paint on top of that and keep them nice and waterproof. The next multitasking item is making the sliding door. This is some Eric's board. It's 0.5 inches thick, but it's super lightweight, and that's ultimately waterproof. It's basically like foam and fiberglass, but we're going to hot coat this thing in epoxy and do a little bit of fiberglassing, and this should be a really nice lightweight sliding door. All right, we got some DIY manifolds for the fuel. It's a combination of bronze and brass. I don't know if brass is super acceptable for diesel, but I see it on some things, and the internet seems to be a little bit mixed about brass for diesel fuel applications, but whatever. I'm gonna do it because it's all I can afford. So we're gonna put these manifolds here, and then we're gonna plumb it up to the engine. So we have an inlet and a return. I'll explain a little bit more about these later and how the fuel works in the boat. So I cut these hoses. There's two of them on the boat, mainly because there are two tanks. We have a starboard side tank and a port side tank. I cut them the exact same length because I'm really not sure how this thing is going to draw from both hoses and, you know, keep the fuel tanks balanced. I have some ideas on why it will stay balanced, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to the sea trial if things start getting all funny with the fuel.